Okay, here's the guy that just showed up, Western Star, and there's the guy that's leaving. Same company. This one doesn't have a fifth wheel plate on it because they thought this was as good a time as any to go ahead and get all this blasted and refinished while they got the truck under the flash industrial knife. And that starts right now. Good morning. I do have my work cut out for me. Very odd. I was pretty impressed. I'm gonna do what I always do on these trucks. And that just happens to be my thing, by the way. This paint job's probably 5-6 years old. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And here he is leaving. It wasn't quite as fun as I was expecting. And that starts right about now. Now, this is my very first time walking around this truck and actually looking at it, so you and I are experiencing it at the same time. I don't know what to expect when I open the hood. I don't know what to expect when I flip on the side lights. I have no idea what this thing's got for damage or prior body work or paint peeling up or corrosion, or I have no idea. I haven't looked it over at all. I'm gonna flip on the side lights. I'm gonna start looking it over, wiping things down where I need to, getting a better look at what we're looking at here. This truck's gonna end up being white and blue, the same colors as the last truck, that sky blue and white. The roof cap's gonna be blue, fender's gonna be blue, chassis is gonna be blue, and the rest is gonna be white. I just opened the hood. You can see where the hood comes down and the weight of it sits here. And this is a heavy hood. It's no slouch. But I find it odd that the two bottom bolts are missing in that. That appears to have all four. That one only has two for some reason though. So I kind of need to look into that, see if we can solidify that some or what the deal is. And then also this spring on this side. You can see it's not really being used as a spring anymore because its location has been ripped loose. And it looks like this one's been compromised as well. That doesn't look like a very smart design on Western Star's part. Seems like that they could build something more stout right there for that. That's been broken out completely. So I'll probably have to look into that and see if I can solidify these and turn them into something you can actually, hang your hat on. And one last thing I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull this. All I got to do is pull the 4 bolts for the top step and the 4 bolts for this bottom step here, and this should all come off. That way I've got better access, because right now I don't have much for access in there. And I'm going to need to get all of the bracketry done. And from this end, you can hardly see it back in there, let alone do anything with it. So I'll go ahead and get this guy pulled before I pull it outside, and that'll probably be the last thing I do. Okay, gang, this guy is all sandblasted and ready for the crew to come in and go ahead and get started doing their stuff. I have to stay suited up here for a few minutes because I've got this other sandblasting related chore. Some of these small jobs, these little local jobs that show up, I tell them, we'll be easy on the price as long as you're easy on my schedule. As long as if you're willing to wait until I have other things I'm blasting and then fit your thing into it, then I'll be easy on the price tag attached. So once in a while we do end up doing some local work, particularly for this place downtown that builds and sells vintage Ford pickups and SUVs and really a lot of different stuff, but they end up doing a lot of Ford stuff. And they brought me a full set of hinges for some doors. I think a set of 4 doors on a crew cab. And they've got them all marked with tape, and I need to remove that tape but keep track of which tape goes to which one, and then sandblast it, then put the tape back on it so they know which hinge goes to what when they get it back. So that's a little more complicated than just blasting a box full of parts, but that's what I'm going to do right now while the crew gets started on this Western Star. Okay, now all 4 sets are blasted. I still have them sitting in the same spots that they were when I laid them out, so I have the stickers that go to them laid out in the exact same order on the side of the cardboard box that they showed up in. right here. So I'll be able to just put those right back on. Just the same ones that they came off of here just a few minutes ago. Okay, now we're getting some stuff taken off of this truck, and this truck has an interesting amount and array of both lights and horns up here. You can see there's just no more room left for lights or horns. And a lot of times these Western Star horns, they don't actually come up. You end up masking up the entire thing. So this might be quite involved. Some of these just don't come apart back here. And it looks like that those might be among them. Then you just end up doing this giant masking job. We'll just have to see how this goes, but looks like we got our work cut out for us because the roof has to be blue. So a lot of these, like these, we'll try and pull. I don't know. It does seem like it's gotten involved. I will say that. Okay, so what I've come up with on this roof here is I had to cut these, had no choice. I got them up out of there as far as I was going to be able to get them. I realized that I have to take the whole headliner out to even mess with them on both sides, so I just cut them out here where I can get to them and mend them on the on put together day. And now all 4 of these horns, this is the last of the 4 horns that I have yet to take loose, and I'm just using this tool to do it. And I've got them all loose, but the most loose I'm going to get any of them is this right here. And this doesn't come apart. None of these come out. I tried 3 of them just on this plate alone, and they were just seized up. So I'll just be breaking them off. I don't even know what I'm going to find when I get in there. You might not be able to even get that loose from inside of that panel's access point. So who even knows? But this is just one piece. That's all you can do. We'll get these all completely ready, and we'll just work around the horns. These front parts here have been removed. Once I pull those bolts, it slides back and gets out of the way, so they're gone all together. And we'll just keep moving these around and setting them on top of the taped up lights, and just being careful and being mindful of them, because we don't have a bunch of repairs to do up here or anything. So we'll come up here, we'll do all of our cleaning, our prep, our masking, our sanding, scratching, get it all completely ready, just working around the horns. And then I'll go ahead, when the time comes to shoot paint, I'll set up a tall ladder on that side and on this side, and I'll string a big 2x6 across them, and then well up above the roof here. And then I'll go ahead from there and just string these up out of the way, like that, something like that. And then we'll mask up whatever we have to from there. We'll look at, once it's all pinned up in place and up in the air, then we'll see what we need to do for basic masking on these. And then I'll get it shot in blue, get it primed and shot in blue, with those just precariously up in the air and only half-assed masked, like loosely wrapped in some plastic or something like that. And then we'll get the entire roof in blue, and then the next morning we'll show up, we'll take all the plastic or whatever we've chosen off of them, then we'll lower them back down in place and just put the bolts right back in them, and they'll be bolted right back down. And then we'll unmask that, and then at that point we'll unmask the windshield and the lights and finish everything out, but the horns will be nice and shiny and just right back on it at that point. That just keeps us from having to mask them up and work around them and dick with them at all the whole time. I mean, that is a bunch of interference. So to have them where we can just move them around and just be cautious and thoughtful about what we're doing with our prep, and then string them up in the air for the last minute that we need to, for the last few hours, and then the next morning just take them down one at a time and bolt them right back down. That seems like we've hedged our bets to make this the least amount of messy as we possibly can here. And so what we're looking at here, you can see that the cable and the spring are all wound together. I think that was done on purpose. I think they had to take up a lot of extra slack on this side for whatever reason, and that's just something they did on purpose, just to make this get tight at the same rate that this side does. So something's out of whack, but who could begin to guess what, when trucks start getting a few hard miles on them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this guy loose, hopefully from this end, but if not from this end, and just get in there and get a better look. Try and get a better idea of how this is all built. and I can make my decision from there, because judging from this, it looks like there's just one decent sized plate back there, possibly, and it's attached with rivets. And here, I think it's bent is all. I think the plate itself is bent inside of there. I don't think it's anything critical. But up here, the plate appears to be pulled loose from the fiberglass, and it's shoved back in there because of it. And I'm hoping I can get it back out and re-rivet it into place. Whereas this one is riveted into place, it's solid. And that's how that one should look, but you can see it's poked back in there a ways. And then I need to figure out what exactly is going on here. Put a big fiberglass patch over it after I straighten it up, because I have the feeling I can just straighten it up and shove it back in there, because I think it's all part of one, possibly two good sized plates inside, but I think it's just one that connects both of these. And so I think this end just got bent out somehow. The hood got closed on something, or something happened to it. So I think if I clear the way, get that fiberglass out of the way, bend this back in without this on it, and then re-fiberglass it, maybe even put a couple more security rivets in there, and then re-rivet that side, that should take care of it. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this bolt loose and take the tension off of here. Well, I've got that all cut out from behind there with that Sawzall, and I went ahead and found a socket that would work well over here, and then a cheater that would work well over the socket, because I didn't have a cheater that's small enough to go over something that small and short and still be effective. At this point, we can just tweak it, get it right to where it was, and then I'll go ahead and do a glass patch over the top of it. So now I've gone ahead and pulled the spring off of this side. And here it is hanging here, and as you can see, sure enough, this is all one piece, and sure enough, it's all broken loose with the exception of maybe this partial rivet right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these rivets, get this all sucked up tight, get this bent back into place a little better, and then go ahead and rivet it back into place. Okay, now the game plan here at this point, I've drilled all these out, and as you can see, this is just flopping down inside there. There's the end of it. So I'll fish that back through here, and then I'll re-drill some fresh 1/4 inch holes, not fresh ones other than these. I mean, I'll just make these to, you know, re-drill them where they're all the way through. They're not going to present any problems when I go to stab these through here in a second. And these are a really stout blind rivet I've used for many things over the years. I attach Peterbilt fenders with these things, so it's going to be a good good candidate for this job here. I'll go ahead and replace all 4 of these rivets, get that in place, and then if I need to at that point, I'll do any tweaking on this particular one, this particular stem, with my cheater setup. And then this side here, I'll go ahead and grind these out, get rid of these 2 rivets, get this all wax and grease, because it's just a greasy mess right here, and then go ahead and get it all prepped, and then get a heavy glass repair put on it, and then get 3 rivets put in its place, all of these style, and one right here and then one right here to replace each of these as well. And that should be the end of the issues with that one and this one. There, that's a nice beefy repair, 4 layers thick in some spots. Now while that's curing out, I'll go ahead and finish up what I was doing here and get these riveted all into place. And just like that, that's probably more solid than it was when it left the factory. Now I'll go ahead and tweak this in just a little bit with my cheater pipe and socket setup. Just like that. Now this is bent nice and straight, ready to be hooked back up to its spring. And while I'm waiting on that fiberglass to get set up, I'll go ahead and turn my attention to this and try and find out why this doesn't have all 4 bolts. It only has half of them, in fact. And what's in there is loose. And we'll take this loose and see what's going on here. Well, that turned out to be quick and easy. I did the easiest solution first, went and found 2 bolts to go back in there, and sure enough, they threaded right in. So just tightened everything up. It was just 2 of the bolts had apparently been taken out and left out or vibrated out over time, and that's all that was. So good, I like those kind of problems. All right, now this repair has gone ahead and set up, and I've just cleared this opening out around this kind of the way it was before, re-drilled the holes. So now I can go in with some new rivets, and this should be strong as it ever was. Okay, now at this point I'm going to go ahead and block this hood up a little bit further than it is, quite a bit further in fact. I might just get on one side or have one of the guys get on one side and lift the hood while somebody else is on the radiator making sense of these springs, because sometimes you have to close the hood a long way to be able to get the springs to line up in a way where you're not trying to be put out too much of a strenuous effort pulling them this way while you're still trying to thread the bolt in this way. I mean, it can get pretty tedious, and this is nowhere near where it needs to be. So we'll have to close the hood quite a bit and get it as close as we can, and then muscle that up there and hook that spring up. Springs are in the right place. Cables, which I assume are all OEM length and quality, probably did come with the truck. This is a 2018 after all. They're all applied the way they should be again. Everything's been all straightened out. That fiberglass repair is set really well, so it's good to go. And it's beefier and thicker than it ever was. And then I went ahead and made sure that had 4 bolts in it, nice and snug. So now I can take the blocks out from under this hood, and we can open and close it as needed from here on out. So now at this point, these guys are finishing up this masking. Went ahead and removed the blocks from under the hood, so it's under its own weight now. Go ahead and get the rest of these details finished up. And now that I've gotten that hood repaired, and I'm waiting for these guys to kind of get their end all kind of caught up, I'm gonna come down here and go ahead and get this cabinet. I talked about this in the last video. I wanted to take this cabinet and put it over here next to this one, which these two did ride together for years and years and years in an old double wide. So if they'll be next to each other again here shortly, I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff out of here, get it relocated somewhere without making too big a mess, hopefully. Get that all cleaned up, get this in place, and start putting some of the spray paint, and just I'll have this thing full in no time. Okay, I got this a lot more organized now. I had to move, this had the same shelf configuration as this, and they're not conducive to fitting 3 full-sized cans, so I went ahead and just moved one of the shelves and drilled all new holes. Now we've got room to spare, but not really, because we have a whole nother cardboard box that's completely full of paint that still needs to be distributed here. So really this will just end up getting filled up one way or another. The boys are having fun, as you can see. This chassis is going to be blue, not black, so that complicates things. Anytime the chassis is going to be any other color other than black, this is the trouble these guys got to go through. All these little, because they look terrible if you don't do it. I mean, bunches of details, so many airbags. This one has a larger amount than most because of all the axles. So there's a good size extra step right there. Up this side we got we got everything else masked here. Threw a tarp over this and masked it up because there's gonna be a lot of treading on top of this, and it'll just eat through the plastic almost immediately. The rest of these, as I mentioned, they're free. And each one of them, we're allowed a few inches of leeway here from the air hose. I don't want to get inside and have to unhook all that stuff and try and get it all fit up back through here. These things are so well glued down. Everything I have tested is just, I mean, you can't even get the slightest edge to peel up. No matter what you do on all of it, it's all a high quality setup. It looks like it's just blobbed in there, and I'm sure it was, but somehow it's a high quality setup. You can't get any of this stuff to come loose. So I thought, rather than just hack away at it and chew away at it and scrape through all the metal and everything else, trying to, or scrape through all the paint straight down to the bare metal for an hour of just gouging it all up and then having to repair it all just so we can goop it all up again, doesn't make much sense. So we're going to go ahead and just scratch everything, scratch in tight around there, scratch all that stuff. So that way when I paint it, we'll just paint it, because it's not going anywhere. It's been well applied. This job has been finished. There's no reason to restart it and refinish it. And although we are going to shoot this roof in blue, we're going to do this truck in a slightly different order because of the amount of blue versus white on this truck. You know, like on the last one, it just made more sense to mask up the roof and get the fenders and get that out of the way and then just shoot the white. But on this one, there's so much blue that have got to go on it. We got to do the roof and the fenders on this one as well, but then the chassis as well, which is substantial. This is one heck of a bunch of chassis here. 4 axles back here, 1 in the front. At full access, there's no fifth wheel plate. So it's full access. We'll be doing all this in here, which we normally we can't get to enough to do thoroughly. So this is all getting done. They were going to swap out the fifth wheel plate on it anyway, so they thought the timing was perfect, and they removed it before they brought it in, and the timing was perfect. We got it all down to shiny bare metal here, and we'll go ahead and top coat it. But my point is, that's a lot of blue overspray in the air. The blue far outnumbers the white, and the white will be really no more time consuming or difficult to mask up than the blue would have been. Only now we don't also have to do the blue because we'll just leave it and we'll do all the blue secondarily. We'll get the truck shot in white, we'll get it all masked up, and then we'll come back and we'll shoot all the blue. So this truck will be done in a slightly different order, but either way, the doors and everything have all been cleaned up. Everything's been cleaned up and ready. And so now I can look and have a more thorough look and see what we've got for bodywork to do on them. That wasn't these guys. These guys bought this truck and then it immediately went in the shop because they got a good deal on the truck because there was some smaller thing wrong with it. That smaller thing must have gotten considerably bigger because this truck's been in the shop for quite a while. And they just got it out of the shop, and now they're wanting to get it painted before they get it into service and officially call it theirs. So they haven't even really run this truck yet. So they didn't make any of these decisions. They didn't do any of this. They bought this truck just like this. They just brought it here as soon as it was finally mechanically ready. But somebody at some point in time had removed these with razors, and that's always very helpful when that happens, because now instead of just leaving some of the old sticker behind or something for us to have to remove safely, now there's bodywork there. So I always try and tell anybody that's gonna have anything painted in my shop, don't have if your guys aren't good at removing stickers, don't have them remove them at all. We'll get them. On this side, we've got a little bit of damage up top there, and looks like just the typical amount of chips and stuff in the fenders. I mean, really it's a clean hood. Right here, it looks like the hood got taken off at some point. And as it was off and laying on whatever surface it was on, or pallet or whatever, it got scraped around. That's what it looks like happened there. And that would be consistent with here too, which is one of the outermost points. So I feel like this is quite possibly factory paint, but you never know on a hood. I mean, they could have, anytime between then and now, something could have happened where the hood got replaced or had to get repainted or whatever. That's typical. Fiberglass hoods, any kind of hood takes damage. It's the front runner. And so if anything hits the truck and gets by the cow catcher, if they have one, and these guys are putting one on here. They put one on all their trucks, and it's going on before the truck ever hits the road, for them, for doing work for them. So that is going to happen, but it does not always happen. And if anything's going to be repainted on a truck, it seems like by the time it gets to my shop, even if it's only been a few years, it'll be the hood. Now, I don't know if this hood's been repainted or anything's been done paint-wise to this truck since it's been new, but it hasn't been on the planet that long. It wouldn't surprise me if this is all factory stuff. What we got here is another what looks like palm dent right there, and it's a pretty good sized one. So, and a dent right there. Yeah, and this palm one is big. It goes clear up into here. So, there's that. So this is going to be all body work. And on the other side, there's going to be some as well. And while the boys are finishing up this masking, I'm going to go ahead and have a look. This is what we fixed yesterday here, and this side looks pretty good. There's still some slack in this. Makes the person wonder why. Then I come over here to the driver's side, and I see that this is already tangled up in it. It's already looped up and gotten tangled up in it, and this got somehow wheeled around backwards and then bent around this way. It wasn't bent that way before. So this just becomes a coiled mess in here when the hood's closed, and then when it opens, it can open with any different configuration of ways, because the spring is down here. It's already been sprung, so it's open in spots even when it's closed, and it's hanging down here, and it's right next to this, which is apparently coiled up and pretty loose. When it all gets let loose here, this got turned around backwards first thing. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take this one loose and the one on the other side loose and block this hood up again, and I'm going to take these loose and I'm going to mount them down here and see how that works. That'll get them further back out of the way and to where hopefully they don't sit and tangle up with each other. See, that's what that looks like from over here. I opened and closed it one time, and it's or two times at the most, and it's already tangled up in each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and block the hood up. They're all done masking it on it anyway. They're done up here for right now, and try and address that and see if I can't get that fixed. Okay, so what I've done here, So I've gone ahead and moved that cable from here down to here, and just used the bolt that came out of here because it was a different bolt altogether. And so when I tied it in place using that other bolt, it actually ties it in place. It can no longer pivot. It's stuck in that position. But that's the optimum position, because that's the correct trajectory to where this is now doing its job. They're separated pretty well, but I haven't opened and closed the hood a bunch of times yet. The tension's completely off my block, so the hood's holding itself up. Again, the trajectory's just about right here. So it seems like it's going to work, but we'll just have to open and close the hood a few times and know for sure. But that's how these were so intertwined. I thought somebody had done it on purpose to take up the tension, because I thought the hood was maladjusted. Come to find out, none of that was a factor. It's just that when you open and close the hood any amount of times, we did it once or maybe twice, and it was already tangled into it. So that was going to be an ongoing problem. So we moved it from there to there, and hopefully that solves it. All right, gang, at this point, we've got everything sanded and scratched that pertains to what I want to get done today, which is getting the high build epoxy primer on. Got the bodywork on both doors. Got the door area all scratched, ready to go, so I can prime and not have to worry too much. You can see I'm not going to get out here where this is still shiny. I'm not going to get out here where this is still shiny, but my parameters are pretty good, pretty solid. I can prime the whole door without having to mask around it at this point. And then the fenders all got sanded. I'm going to come through with glazing and get stuff like that, stuff like this. Before I go ahead and prime, I'll get my first go around with glazing on it. You can see there's all kinds of little spots. I'm going to go ahead and get those as well. Get all that in glazing, get it all smoothed up, and then get some wet sanding primer on it here this afternoon. Okay, gang, I went over all the chips and all the gouges and things that I could find on this, including the ones that were up on top of the hood where I said it probably got damaged from being off of the truck and being wallowed around on a pallet or something like that. That got all cleaned up. Got these all cleaned up, glazed and then sanded back down. All the little cracks and chips that I could find, some damage up here, got taken care of. Again, there's some damage on top I took care of. And of course the damage in the door, that's what that amounted to. So you got to see firsthand exactly how this acts now that you open and close it with the new location of the lower cable here. Was here and moved it here. And before it was one of those where every time you'd open it or close it, you'd hear banging and clanging under there from those things working against one another. Now they're not touching each other, they're opening independent of each other. There's very little chance of them getting tangled up in the future. And as you just saw, that's how it's going to open every time. So I think that's going to work really well. And it's mounted as solid, if not more solid, than it was before. So I think we fixed that one as well. Now we can go ahead and close this hood once I get the top of the hood blown off and get some priming done. Well, good morning, gang. It's first thing the next morning, and yesterday I did get everything I wanted to in wet sanding primer. And I was going to get the chassis in primer, but I had used up enough of my day that I didn't feel like embarking on that late in the day. It was already after supper time, so I went ahead and just left that alone. This morning the boys will come in, they'll finish up. See, I just threw that over there just to keep the overspray that was in the air off of stuff, but we'll have them go ahead and mask the rest of these things up here this morning. And then we'll go ahead and get all this sanded down, get all this completely ready, 100% ready to go. And then I'll go ahead and get the white on that today. And when I do that, I'm going to prime the cabin hood in white. Then while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'll come back here and I'll double and even triple coat this in gray. And then once that's done, this should be ready. I'll come up here, wipe this down, give it one more quick look over, and then go ahead and get it in white here today as well. Now at this point, we're just going through, getting some of this remaining scratching and sanding done. And there's not a lot for dents back here at all, but there's a lot of pinch welds. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of pinch welds. And they're just absolutely covering this. Just covering it. And I'm not looking to fill any of them. That's not the point. There's chips everywhere. And they're in amongst those. And so you can't half fill one. You either get in or you get out when you're doing pinch welds. And then it looks odd to just take one of them out of the lineup anyway. I mean, if you're going to leave them, I mean, look, just leave them. But when you have all these little chips everywhere, there's actually a chore in itself. There's not a lot of dents back here to deal with. Somehow this truck has made it this far. Of course, this is 2018 without a bunch of dents in the back. But because of all those pinch welds working around them, you have to scratch down into them. So there's that extra effort with the scratching. But then also I'm trying not to fill any of them with Bodywork while I'm trying to work around them and get all of these chips out from everywhere. You can see I've already hit this panel one time, but this one I haven't yet. And they're just everywhere back here like that. So it's presenting its own challenges, even though it's not the typical back of a cab that we would normally see. It's got its own challenges for sure. Then you're ready to go. At 220, you know, is a good grit to use. And then I use just this little block. This is actually like a 12-inch block that I cut into 3. Had another 12-inch block that I cut into 2 6-inch blocks. They're a handier size. And I just take standard sandpaper. In this case, it was used sandpaper off of my DA, so it was more than half used, because I didn't want necessarily aggressive brand new paper, but I didn't want worn out paper. And then you just wrap this up in it like this, like a taco, and then you can sand inside of there. And if you have a narrower gap than that, you can turn this on its side and sand inside of there. And then you can just move this around inside of here anytime you want to get fresh sandpaper on your surface. Works out well. It makes good use of a piece of sandpaper, and it keeps everything as flat as you want to keep it. So in this case down here, you see I'll have it flattened out, and I'll be sanding in here. That's how I take care of that. Like right in here, this little narrow spot, I just put the block flat, knocked it down. So handy to keep an assortment of blocks around for this kind of work. Okay, gang, as you can see, I got the hood primed in white here. Got the rest of the truck primed in white. Got the chassis primed in gray. 3 coats of gray, in fact. I went ahead and just did all 3. I mixed up quite a bit of primer and I decided I'd just go ahead and use it all. So I did 3 full coats. This is all primed. This got primed about an hour ago, just a little over an hour ago. So I'm getting ready to go over everything with a tack rag here. This is just gonna sit for the night. It's got 3 heavy coats on it, so it needs to sit for the night. But I'm gonna go ahead here and get everything wiped down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this white paint on right now. All right, so we'll just go ahead and fast forward to the next morning here. And as you saw yesterday, I got paint on this guy. Now this morning, the priority is going to be to separate off the fenders. And then we'll go ahead, when the boys get in here any minute now, we'll go ahead and concentrate on getting the hood masked off and getting the body of the truck masked off. Then after that, we'll go ahead and unmask the roof there and get it fully prepped and get it exactly how we're gonna want it. Then I'll look these fenders over for cracks and chips and any other little imperfections, take care of all that. And then I'll go ahead at that point, get everything blown off and ready, and we'll get blue on this guy here today. Okay, now I'm just about done with the hood here. These guys are just getting finished up with their stuff. And while they're doing that, as soon as they're done with that, I'll be able to close the hood and finish mine entirely. And for now, I've just got this all stacked up back here. Put some boards across, screwed a board to the front of it. It's about a ½ inch up, so they'll catch on it. Now we'll go ahead and get these hinges off of here, get some of them replaced or cleaned up, but we'll make decisions on them. And then we'll go ahead and get these all cleaned up and ready. These all go in the wash area. They go right above the washer and dryer. And so we'll go ahead and get them painted the correct color here today as well. All right, so we just put a board across this span, tied those horns to it, put a couple of bed sheets. I have one bed sheet that I cut into quarters, and we use those quarters for all sorts of smaller applications, and that's what 2 of these are. And then just wrapped everything else up in plastic, suspended it all above the roof so we can get all of our spraying done, get all of our prep done. And now as soon as we come back from lunch, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get on this, get it all sanded, get it all scratched, 100% ready to go. I'll finish getting the fenders ready to go. And this truck will have its blue on it by the end of the day for sure. Okay, so we've got everything tied up and we're getting some prep done. I just put the boards back on here and a ladder on it so we can reach stuff from back here more easily. They'll be prepping on that, getting that all sanded and scratched. And I'll be getting these all sanded and finished out once I get them completely looked over. And we'll be putting primer on. Well, okay gang, we got everything scratched, sanded and prepped, got everything primed, and then it sat for about an hour, almost an hour and a half. So now I'm gonna go ahead, mix up some blue paint, get some blue on the roof cap first. Then I'm going to take those boards down off of there because I'll be using that ladder to get up here and do the back. Once I get the roof cap painted, I'll take those boards off and then I'll get the chassis painted and the front fenders painted as well. Well, and I already got these painted. I just need to get them out of here before I start spraying this blue paint. Look at that chassis, shining like it's brand new. Good morning, gang. It's first thing the next morning, and as you saw yesterday, I got the blue on all this stuff, and when I did that, I went ahead and got these doors, which were already shot by then, but still fairly fresh, dry to the touch, and put them in a different part of the shop, and then when I was all done, I put them back. So now they're going to be ready to go this morning as well. And we went ahead and got this all painted up yesterday. I haven't looked it over really at all. I just stepped in the shop and flipped on the camera, so we're looking this over together. Yeah, so far I like what I see. Well, I'm going to go ahead and look these fenders over and look this roof over, and if everything's green lit, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this guy unmasked here this morning. Looks nice and shiny. Looks nicely covered, no bugs in it. Nothing noticeable. Looks like we can probably get this guy unmasked here today too. And the beauty of that is we'll just turn these around, put them right back down where they go. And all of this, everything around here all got scuffed, so this is all fine. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and just flip each one around, put it in, bolt it on once it's unmasked. So that's a pretty clean way of doing one of these roofs and far less tedious than working around those horns on their terms, as many as there were up here. combined with all the lights, you know, there was really no room left. And that turned out pretty clean. I painted that section. It's going to be subject to quite a bit of heat, and that's always a test for this paint, but I've never had this paint flunk a test. I've put it on exhaust many times. So, you know, it's just another test. We'll see how it holds up. But either way, this was all rusty. And whereas this was, you know, still in really good condition, so we went ahead and masked it off. But this was already rusty, so we went ahead and painted it, because what's it going to hurt? Plus, like I said, I've had it on exhaust many, many times, and it's always held up. And these fenders look pretty clean. So I'll go ahead now and get them unmasked.
Splice Originals.
Well, all right, gang, now I've got the hubs done here. I've got the drive lines completely done. I pulled it back and forth until they were fully exposed and got them painted. And that's about all there was left to do on this guy. Let's go ahead and walk around it and have us a look. Okay, what we've got here is a 2018 Western Star 4900. Here's how the passenger side front of the chassis turned out. Here's how the driver's side front of the chassis turned out. Nice and clean. Oh, forgot one sticker. There we go. And here's how the roof turned out. Being able to move all those horns made this so much easier. And the job that is done is a lot more thorough because of it. When this truck showed up, it had internal hood issues. The hood catches on the inside were all mangled and messed up. They needed quite a bit of attention. And then the hood stoppers on the inside of the hood on the other side was loose. It had 2 bolts missing and the other 2 were loose. Got that all fixed up, put back the way it should be. Now the hood opens and closes as it should. Made the fenders blue on this one. This truck was in solid white. And here's how the roof turned out. Got all the lights back on it. Got all these lights unmasked. Got all the horns dislodged, and then we did our painting and then we put them right back. So now we have a nice clean paint job. Roof turned out slick. The chassis, which is quite substantial on this one, needed a bunch of attention. Took it down to bare metal. Got all that masking done. Pretty intricate masking. Speaking of intricate masking, all of these airbags are black, as they should be. I left this because it's got all their information on it, the filter number and when it was changed, so we went ahead and masked that off. Again, we spared all the airbags, of which there were many. Got all the details in here. They went ahead and brought me the chassis without a fifth wheel plate on it, which was smart on their part, so now they're going to have it fully prepped. Again, just loaded with details. all these axles. Two separate drop axles on this one that all got thoroughly painted. Got their airbags masked off. This was just strung up the back of the truck, and it was attached to the horn, one of the horns up top there, and I undid all of it and just put it on here. It's not perfect, but at least it's not going to sit there and whip against the back of the truck. And I moved the location of that antenna to the top of this grab bar instead of up there on the top where it was. So it's still up in the air and it's still out of the way, but it's not strung clear up the back of the truck like it was. Did the jams, partial jams on this one. We just went in and did it right to this corner. That way you wouldn't be able to see anything from out here. It's still nice and clean. The doors both had fairly substantial dents right in here. Took care of all that. Can't tell that they ever had anything wrong with them. Now this guy's ready to hit the road. All they gotta do is get their fifth wheel plate mounted and any other things that they intend on mounting on it. And this guy's getting ready to go to work for them for who knows how many years. They just got it. They're gonna put it to work for a while. Well, that about does it for this guy. Coming up next, we have either like a 1998 or 99 W900 sleeper truck, or a 2001 W900 conventional, or we could possibly have another 05 Max cement truck in, or we could have a Peterbilt, I believe it is, 379, I think, construction truck out of South Dakota. I'm not sure between those four which one I'm going to pull in. It just depends on who brings what and what the priorities are. But it's going to be one of those four trucks we're going to get in next. So stay tuned. We've got a lot going on. Hey, if you like this video, you should take the time to hit the like button. It's going to help me grow my channel. And if you want to see more of what goes on around here, check us out at Facebook at Flash Industrial Painting. If you want to see more videos like this, or domestic auto body, or gardening, or art, or construction, or dirt moving, or any of the many things we end up doing around here, you might as well hit the subscribe button while you're at it, because, you know, we always got something going on. We'll see you guys around.